Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another historical human's heritage. And today we are looking at the Cook Early Agricultural Site in Papua New Guinea, one of the first agricultural sites in this region. And, something we talk about all the time is transformative historical events. Well, the advent of agriculture is always one of the
Yeah,
most transformative.
yeah. The early agricultural site at Cook is it's a pretty interesting place, and it's not something when you describe it that you would think of as a place in which agriculture, farming, that sort of thing would be invented. As the UNESCO heritage site consists of 116 hectares of swamp, uh, which is not, usually you think of hills and fields for agriculture, but not here in uh, in the Western Highlands of New Guinea.
Yes,
Uh,
because we know that swamplands are infertile and there's no good crops that can be harvested from swampland.
no, it's just swamps tend to be a little bit more difficult to inhabit.
That's why I flood my bog every summer.
Yes. Listen, man, I live on a marsh, okay? It's not easy living out here. Uh, anyway, um, this, archaeological excavations have found that Cook was a wetland that was worked continuously for between 7,000 and 10,000 years.
Wow.
And in it, and because it was worked so consistently, there is evidence for for how agriculture began and evolved in the region. The changing of tools, the changing of the crops themselves as selective breeding leads to better and better harvestable crops.
Wow,
All
so
of
you mean
that
more
is
crop
found.
resiliency?
Yep, all of that is found right here in in Cook. About 6,500 years worth.
And now, one of my favorite little soapboxes to stand on, because I harp on this a lot, agriculture is important. And it's important because agriculture is pretty much the catalyst for every major civilization, for every major culture. There are people that have succeeded living a hunter gatherer lifestyle. However, they haven't really proliferated, not to the level of civilizations. And agriculture, especially in large scale like this, allows people to become sedentary because they don't need to travel as far to meet their caloric needs or to meet their nutritional needs. So having sites like this that are like the ground zero, so to speak, for agriculture in a region is honestly quite impressive.
Yeah,
And as much as it'd be cool to say, like, farming, the farming was started here, this is just one of a
yeah,
few dozen known examples, if not more.
yeah. So building off the back of that, not only does Cook show the transformation of agricultural practices over time, they actually began by building mounds to elevate themselves, to elevate the soil they wanted above the wetlands. And would later, there's evidence of them digging out canals as sort of fake rivers to drain the wetlands so they could have more land to grow on.
Wow, so
It's
they did
actually
drainage systems and
yeah, yeah, it's actually a complex sequence of hydroengineering to get this land to be, you know, the as fertile as it can be. Um, One of the other things is that Cook is one of the few places on Earth where archaeological evidence shows independent invention of agriculture and its development. This is one of the
ooh.
few places where we have the empirical physical proof that these people had the idea of planting crops and growing them for food without borrowing it from a neighboring culture or a trade route.
Wait, wait,
There's not
wait.
really doubt
Graham
that they
Hancock is shivering in his loafers right now because what you're telling me is the great, ultimate, ancient civilization that traveled the world teaching cultures how to grow seeds.
I don't know what you're talking about, and I refuse to acknowledge its existence.
They
All right,
didn't traverse their way to
listen,
Papua New Guinea to teach these people how to farm?
Justin. Unlike what's on your arms, I do not believe in pseudoscience and the mysteries of the universe. I am a far more practical man.
That there's an actual theory that people, an ancient supergroup of humans, traversed the world teaching people how to farm. It's a farce. It's pseudoscience. We like to poke fun at it because the pure absurdity of it. However, certain History Channel shows like to propagate those theories and like to air them because what are ethics when you get views?
Yeah, no. So we are not going to talk about these
Yeah.
ever again, Justin. Um, because this is a wonderful, this is one of the few places where we have all the evidence we could want for independent invention, innovation. These people, they developed new ways of doing it. They developed new tools. Uh, hell, it's a swampland too. So we actually have I actually believe we have recovered from there a number of the wooden tools that were originally used to farm this land.
Wow,
They're
that is actually
farming with wood.
cool.
That is incredibly difficult.
I mean, when you have no other tools and you're just getting started, you will use anything at your
I,
disposal.
it's just it's just I have a partially sharpened tree branch and that's it. That is impressive. I don't think wood gets enough reputation out here for how much of, you know, how versatile it can be, but also how difficult it is to work with.
I mean, to be fair, in at least a farming context, wood would have a few uses and still is to this day, like a seed dribbler or dibbler. I don't remember what they're called, but you can basically stab a pointed stick into the dirt and create a perfect hole to drop a seed into. And then you
Yeah.
just pour the dirt over and you've already planted a seed at the right depth.
Yeah, it's called farming with pool cues.
I thought that was just you being a sore loser. I hate
Yes.
this game. I
Uh,
hate this game.
anyway, so the with all this talk of agriculture, we must of course come to what was being cultivated by the people at Cook. Well, there were three main vegetables that they could, or three main plants, I should say, because they're not all vegetables: bananas, taro, and yams.
Ooh.
And I just love that yams have returned again. I have not gotten to talk about yams since I read Chinua Achebe's what was his book? Things Fall Apart. So I've not gotten to talk about yams in a long time, and I'm happy that they are back.
I think I am. I think I am. I think I
And Justin's here to ruin it.
am. Like any good thing in this social media.
I'm just happy to see. Yeah, but bananas, taro, and yam. Um, it's it's just a wonderful, well put together site. Now, one of the issues for this site um, is that while there is adequate legal protection for Cook, um, customary protection doesn't really exist. There's a lot of waiting going on for the designation of the property as a conservation area with formal land management agreements from the local communities and the national government. So, while it is a a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and while it does have certain laws protecting it, the land itself is still in the limbo of being negotiated on for the formal agreement of what exactly are the boundaries, what exactly are we protecting, and how are we going to do it. That's the dance of the nation and the local communities, and that's still going on. And well, it's good for that debate to be happening. It's always a little nerve-wracking for to see things like this caught in limbo.
Yeah, it's always nice when you see quick, decisive action. Limbo, it can be scary, especially because a lot of times when stuff is caught in limbo, the bulldozers come.
Yeah. The current sticking point from what UNESCO is telling us is that there's arguments about management responsibilities, specifically in terms of who is responsible for looking into reports of misconduct and who is responsible for actually maintaining the site on a day-to-day basis. And that's kind of where the argument is does it belong to the local people's responsibility? Is it the national government's responsibility to put money behind this? Who antes up for what? And that's always going to be a debate with every site, and it is ongoing. It has only been 15 years since this site was inscribed by the UNESCO World Heritage Site, so we're about a third of the way there in terms of how most governments operate. Efficiency jokes.
And I think that's a beautiful point for us to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, let us know down below. If there's a site you'd like to see us talk about, let us also know. And we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.